Hi, we're the K3, and this is our final thoughts, My Country, A New Age. Marisa, take it away.
You watched the whole thing.
I did watch the whole thing, but you loved it, and
true.
I have quibbles.
If you watched our weekly watch list through this entire series, except for that Netflix
Glitch.
mini betrayal,
Right.
they did not live up to their promise of delivering the show every week.
True.
It was a global catastrophe.
It really
Schedule
was.
snafu.
Yes.
Jenn was never 100% full throttle My
I was
Country,
not.
whereas I loved it.
Loved it.
I watched 30 minutes.
Yes.
So it didn't grab Karen
Didn't
either.
grab-
No.
So maybe you fall in one of these three camps.
Right.
But
So can you do a brief synopsis on this? I mean, it's tough. This
tough.
is a challenge brief synopsis.
it is about two young men who have this beautiful, contentious, murderous relationship that
Slash BFF. Friendship.
BFF slash fantastic bangs in here.
Fantastic
We'll
man.
get to all of that in a moment. But I think it's really about the forgotten soldiers and men and women who transitioned Goryeo to the Joseon Era. So you've got, the show is epic. So if you like big battles and lots of sword fights, this show is so gorgeous. But in terms of the story, it's a combination of real life historical characters, including Lee Sung-gi, who was the founder of the Joseon Era, and his sons Lee Bang-won and Lee Bang-gan vying for the throne. But then you also have a story about the people. So it's a contrast of family relationships, which all either ended tragically or just horribly, and found family, which were the beautiful relationships and the reason to live. And it's really about defining my country for all of these different people. And it was bloody.
So bloody. So what, if you had to pick, like, other than Jang Hyuk, what
He's the answer to everything now.
was that your favorite? Do you think that was why you were so invested in the show? Because I know he's one of your favorites.
Oh, he's totally one of my favorites. And he was just,
He's
between
better than everything, right?
the arrows
And
and
the
the
fan.
fan and the hair and the
He needs
glare.
to be, I will say this every time we talk about the show. He needs to be in a vampire show right now. I need him to be Lestat. I need him to walk. I need him to be Bram Stoker. I need him to be Dracula. I need him to walk the castle halls with flowing robes and that freaking hair. I just do.
I would like the clip montage of him with the fan.
Yes.
Like every fan moment.
Holy cow. And
was
then
amazing.
He lit it on fire later. Oh, it was
I
so
literally, my
symbolic.
notes were like, not the fan. Because that fan was epic.
This is actually the second time he's played Lee Bang-won. He also played him in this movie, which Empire of Lust. And it is one of the, I mean, Korean films can get insanely violent, and this film was crazy violent. So really, Lee Bang-won might have been the third ruler of Joseon, but his hands were full of blood in order to get to the throne.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, okay, so I was invested, but I was not horribly invested because I had a difficult time with Yang Se-jung. Character, lead character.
Right.
I just didn't feel he fit the era or the I just truly did not believe he would have survived even half a day in that environment. He was too soft-hearted.
Well, it's funny because we had this YouTube comment from MCM Tubeful who said, Yang Se-jung seems more like a damsel in distress than a cold-blooded assassin.
Thank you. Like, I had a very difficult time believing that not only was he the greatest swordsman in Goryeo or Joseon, but that he survived everything, like those battles and like being stabbed poisoning, like everything. Like he just didn't seem that hardy to me. And I don't mean that in a rude way. He had a beautiful heart and he loved people and he protected his people. But I just had a difficult time buying into his character. And I think that was a big sticking point for me.
Because I think the star really was Woo Do Hwan.
Oh my,
Who
now Woo Do Hwan? Yes. I bought him 110%.
Interesting. And they were the two best friends, right?
Yes.
Those two.
Yeah.
And I will say their relationship was beautiful. That was like the love. That was the love
That was the
affair
love
of
story,
the
yeah.
entire show.
Yeah.
Like the actual love. I was like, gosh, I don't care. She's terrible. Go away. But
So
the
good.
last couple of episodes, like those two, that was a relationship I wanted to see
And that's
more of,
how
and
it
that's how it
ended.
ended.
Yeah.
And I loved it so much.
That was
it
a
was
beautiful
so beautiful.
ending.
It really was.
Yeah, but Woo Do Hwan brought
Woo Do
it.
Hwan was so good.
And seeing his scenes with his father, played by An Sung, were just incredible. And I think that and the scenes with Jang Hyuk, because he really was after him. Those really elevated Woo Do Hwan's performance. It was just he's just reached this whole level of awesomeness that's really so compelling.
Awesomeness
Worth
is
it for
really
him.
the one word for him.
Really,
he
it's
was
a good word.
he
Yeah.
was fantastic. I found that his story was the one that resonated with me the most because he where Bang Won's character, he was at the end of the day a horrible human being. Like he was treacherous, he was greedy, he was everything that you don't want in a country,
ruler?
in a
Yes.
ruler, and yet he was like doing it all for the abandoned people. And I was like, dude, you're the one causing most of the abandonment.
Yeah.
Like, what is your problem? and I again, like I just said about Yang Se-jung's character, he was just too soft-hearted. Like, but Woo Do Hwan's character, he was the one that most resonated with me. He got put into situations that were kind of beyond his control, and he was a little bit of a hothead, and so he had to deal with the consequences of what he would do, and then he found ways to almost get redemption at the end, and so that's why he was my favorite.
Yeah, I would say after episode 12, the show shifted.
Yeah.
And I think that was the weak point of the show.
Yeah.
Actually, there were a couple of weak points. But the story really shifted there. And we lost Woo Do Hwan's purpose a little bit.
Yes.
And then I think history really took over, and they focused a lot on Lee Bang-won's story and his political, literal assassinations to get him on the throne. So if you love history, if you love the seeing Korean history, this is a fascinating show with some contemporary flair with the music.
Oh my god, the music was. I was like, their theme song is life. Like it's like an electric guitar.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god.
interesting.
There was actually one scene towards the end with Chido and Hui were going to the village, and all of a sudden their music kicked on, and I'm like, wait, Seon Ho's not here. And all of a sudden there's a sword goes flying through the frame, and Seon Ho showed up. I was like, of course, there he is. You can't have
music.
this. You can't have this music without the two boys fighting back to back.
But the strength of the show was these epic battles and the choreography. And we need to mention Ji Sung-hyun, who is... so we last saw him in Search WWW.
Oh my God, I loved him so
as
much.
the about-to-be ex-husband. So to see him as this swordsman was really...
I enjoyed him so much.
Fantastic.
I was so happy, and I was stunned. Yet again stunned. But I was so happy that the four guys from the war spoiler alert, but this is our final thoughts. The only one that died was the one that actually sacrificed himself for everyone. Yeah. And I was really happy to see that none of our main four comrades died.
Yes.
So I was really happy to see that.
Yeah, there was definitely a hopeful ending because clearly...
Oh my God.
It would have been too much if everyone was slaughtered, but
So yeah.
Do you feel like that mix worked with the? Because these were not based on actual characters as far as we know, right?
Correct.
That
so
interspersed
so that's what I mean by saying Yang Se-jung and Woo Do Hwan's characters, and also Sol-hyun, who was the young woman who eventually took over the Giseng house. These are the forgotten stories, the forgotten people who were there at the transition.
I felt like she was the weakest link in the entire story. So I
yeah.
had a hard time. I had a really hard time latching onto her.
I know. I wish they had not killed off Jang Young-nam's character. She was the head of the Giseng house, who, when she died, turned it over to Sol-hyun.
She's so good.
She's so good, and it's really a shame that she wasn't there more, because I think we could have understood women in that era and what it took to survive.
Absolutely.
No one wants to be a Giseng,
No.
but how do you survive, right? So that, I think, could have been... that could have been stronger. I think I would
And
have
I
enjoyed that
think
a
if
lot
she
more
would have
than-
maybe trained
Yeah.
lead female a little bit more, and we could have actually seen more of
Seen
what
the
those
transition.
machinations are. And then when she died, I think her death would have resonated a little bit more.
Yeah, because her way of training her was by kind of pushing her and slapping her aside, so to kind of get Seo Hyun to fight. But I think as an actress, she doesn't. Her grit wasn't really evident. So yeah, and then also the young woman who played Young Se-jong's sister.
I really
actress is Cho
enjoyed
Ji-hyun.
her.
Yeah, she was very good.
really enjoyed
I would have
her.
liked to have seen more of her.
Yeah.
And I didn't really understand how a young woman at that time, despite whatever traumatic brain injury she had suffered, could be so innocent. You know,
Yeah. But I
didn't buy
will
that.
say this: what I really enjoyed, because I kind of just finished the show before we recorded this, because so it's a little bit more fresh in my mind. The thing that the story. The relationship between Seon Ho and the sister, because he kind of adopted the sister because he felt not only responsible for her, but he cared for her beforehand. The fact, his attachment to that ribbon the sash that she had made him, and then when Hui gave him back the second half and thanked him finally and acknowledging what he had done for the sister and the pain that he went through when the sister died, and I thought that was probably one of my favorite moments in the entire show.
Yeah.
Because it finally, the poor kid Seon Ho finally just broke down and finally had someone acknowledge how much pain he was in that the sister had died, because she kind of been both of their little sisters.
Yes, they were so tight at the beginning.
Yeah.
So that final,
Well, and then when she had
final episode,
that was the final
it
episode,
was so good.
But then when she had the brain injury, they brought her into the house thinking that made her believe that she was Seon Ho's youngest sister.
right, he protected her against his father. So yeah.
So I appreciated the fact that he got a little bit of recognition, and that his second actually said it wasn't so bad being next to his side. That he actually had people. Like, I felt so happy that he actually had people. Can you tell who was my favorite character? Seon Ho was everything for me on the show.
Yeah. So that again is found family, because the real families in this show were like either your beloved just ended up dead, your father, or your mother, or you were the royal household, which was just this hot mess of betrayal and jockeying to get that throne and murder.
Oh, it was terrible.
Nest of vipers for sure. So it was.
Now, were you surprised that Lee Bang-won was the actual person who had got Wee's father killed? Was that a?
No.
I didn't. I just was curious.
Yeah.
Because they made it such a big thing.
Yeah,
In the
I
show, and I was kind of like,
surprised-
did we not kind of figure that
we knew.
out?
I mean,
I feel like
Was that part of
surprised-
actual history? That
no, because
No.
we didn't exist. So
Right.
Oh,
Hui-
wow.
So, I mean, it was a surprise in the sense that he was someone so important to him who had trained him to be such a master swordsman, but not so surprising because you take out, Lee Bang-won would take out anyone who he thought was a threat.
He really
So-
was just ruthless.
Right. And in real life history, he is the father of the great King Sejong. So, that's interesting.
Interesting.
Clearly not raised by his father.
No.
I don't know. Let us know.
I don't know. It's fascinating.
Fascinated by it.
Now, one final question for you, because at the end, people on Twitter felt that when Lee Bang-won was sitting there and contemplating, and then like cackling maniacally on his throne, and then had a tear, and then said, "You did well." My question for you: a lot of people thought that it was him telling himself that he did well, or was he talking to Hui, who basically saved his people out in the courtyard by.
Oh, so I had only heard the first one.
Right, and
That's what I thought.
The way
But that's
the way
interesting.
that I was watching it, because I was like, oh, I had read all of that and I'd be like, oh, okay, oh, this is the scene everyone's talking about, and I was curious because he had just basically
Let Hui
go, and he got basically assassinated, and I was curious if he was saying you did well, kind of as to both of them, like he saved his people, and so I was curious what your thoughts were.
Oh, Jang Hyuk.
He's so good.
He's so good. Really, it could be both.
It could be both.
I think either way is completely
one tear.
telling.
With one
Completely
tear.
telling.
Yes.
Because he gave Hui, oh my goodness, he gave him the death that he needed. But at the same time, he's on the throne. So yeah, I could see it going either way. I'm not sure now.
I
Might have to rewatch that.
Look at me. I barely paid attention, and I was like, hold up. I paid attention enough.
Thank you, Jang Hyuk,
Yes.
for your
Oh,
excellent
he's so
acting.
good. I mean, he's not one of my favorites, but I can see why he's a lot of people's favorites. He's ridiculously talented.
He's excellent.
He's a ridiculously talented actor.
Yes.
So the big question, Marisa,
Yes.
how does one binge watch this show? Because I don't think you can go on a full, I don't think you can go like on a maniacal all
Are
day
these hour
event.
plus episodes?
Yeah,
Like,
well, there's that. Not only is the time epic, but I just don't know if I had the emotional fortitude to go like 2 days straight on this show.
It was definitely intense. But that also speaks to why there was global panic when Netflix didn't deliver episode
Right.
13 when we were expecting it. So it depends on your own stomach, like how much you can handle, because the scenes were epic, but yeah, you might need a coffee break in between.
Yeah.
There's so much death and so much blood, and
So many machinations. You kind of need to sit on them for a hot minute.
yeah,
For me personally.
you definitely need to process it because a lot happens and a lot is spoken. A lot, there's not a lot sometimes that is shown, particularly in the palace. So for those of us who are not Korean and not raised or have a good knowledge of Korean history, there's a lot to absorb.
Okay.
So yeah.
We do have a companion video, though.
We do.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you want to learn a little bit about the history, about what is happening in my country, we had our friend Livia come in, and we'll put the link right up here. Do you have any final thoughts on this show?
The hair was
Oh my God,
just
the hair.
freaking
Hair was
phenomenal.
It was ridiculous. It
If
was.
there had been less violence, I might have stuck it out for the hair.
The hair was so good.
And Jang Hyuk kept it. Woo Do Hwan's posted some Instagram photos. He's cut his hair, but the bangs are still on. But Jang Hyuk kept it for his next role.
Oh,
and
he did. Oh my
so,
God,
yeah.
they put out some photos, and even I was like, oh my.
Yes.
Oh, it's like, it's almost feathered. It's so amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic hair. Like, it's fantastic hair.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just envisioning. I haven't
Yeah,
seen this picture.
it's going to be so good.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. So, those are our final thoughts on my country. Yeah, it was epic.
What
It
are
was.
yours? Did you watch it?
Yeah.
You gonna watch now?
Let us know.
Yeah.
We're the K3. I'm Jen.
I'm Karen.
And Marisa.
And if you want to see what all of our thoughts, mostly Marisa's thoughts, were as we went along, you can follow them right here on our weekly watch list. Here's the entire list of them right there.
And you can check below in the comments on each of our weekly watch lists to check the time code to jump right to my country if that is what you are currently binging.
And we will see you next time.